Hello and welcome back to my bookshelf tour. We're into comic book territory, and as I said last week, we're sort of into pull the tea out of the shot. We're sort of into uh, comics that are maybe give you a little bit too much information about my general sexual preferences, adolescents as they are. Let's start off. This. Let's start off with a little bit more respectable, and that is my manga. Very limited manga stuff. Which this start off with actually Rod Espinoza, which you can probably tell from the name. It's not a Japanese name. It is a Filipino fellow, Rod Espinoza, and Neotopia, with wow, incredibly small writing, in a world where finally, oh God, I can't even read that. Teeny tiny writing that there. Take a screenshot and read it yourself. Kind of steampunky work, with princesses and war machines and defending the motherland and the end of all things and giving no quarter and the birth of a new world. Um, just gorgeous kind of almost adventure comics with great great artwork. Rod Espinoza is one of these guys who his work started out quite beautiful, and actually his backgrounds are a lot of like a lot of kind of manga are like most of the reason why you actually the artwork works so well. Um, it's there's beautiful, the characters are well realized, and the writing's really good, but it also has just gorgeous backgrounds, which unfortunately he switched to sort of a computer rendering thing for that, I get the sense, in his later works, which completely kind of lost the reason why I would actually want to read them, and thus I kind of dropped them. But yeah, so I have the various volumes. Volume 1, The Enlightened Age. Number 2, Perilous Winds of Arthenon. Number 3, Kingdoms Beyond. And number 4, The New World. Don't know if it goes on past then. Um, so that's like a completed series by Rod Espinoza. One that did not sadly get completed was Battle Girls, which probably is a little bit more on the cheesecake side of my tastes, which is about a bunch of battle girls. Are you ready to rumble? This isn't your typical catfight. Rod Espinoza, a creator of the Courageous Princess and Neotopia, we'll get to the Courageous Princess, it's somewhere else in my collection, brings you the expert mech girl, the super mighty girl, powerful priestess, nerdy gadgeter, and the seductive temperist, all heroines from different backgrounds gathered together by a legendary warrior goddess to live in her strange mansion and to fight evil wherever it may be. Uh, maybe that was a little too niche of a of 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 the thing. Just like really gorgeous, clean artwork. I actually really like that this is, at least in the trade paperback, was done in black and white because it gives you that lovely line art, which I am sort of a big fan of. Oh, there is. Speaking of cheesecake, there is the seductive temptress with her lovely horns. Yes, that's what I was looking at, is her lovely horns. Yeah, and then, because I'm convinced that this is a unsung classic, at some point it will become super valuable, and that's my one thing of collector's thing, that I happen to have 3 copies of it. Okay, here's something that's probably at the heart of my people talk about guilty reads. This is definitely guilty reads. This is my breast fetish, which is Econ, which follows a bunch of high school age girls with really large breasts. I mean, that's basically the thing, is a young dude, as in a lot of Japanese manga, this is actually Japanese manga, comes to a school because they love school mangas. It's a whole genre, as far as I know, in the thing where he falls in with this, they have lovely clubs over there because everything's organized into little clubs, and he ends up with this club of girls which all have humongous breasts, and it's all sort of, as shown on the back, they end up in poses like that in little bikinis. um it is it you know it is your probably cutesy manga. There's something about it, I think, that probably, as I was talking about like Bill Ward last time, of that kind of jokey silliness mixed with sexuality, um, laughter and sexuality. This is very much that, in that it's all about kind of silly, almost like sitcom-y situations, but mixed with lots of TNA, I guess. Um, I went through a thing and bought a bunch of them. They're all fairly repetitive. With manga, the story moves slowly. That I, I sort of, you lose interest as you go along. Um, but it's just, I don't know why. I'm sure this series probably goes on for like a bazillion volumes in the Japanese, and there might even be more. And thing I've probably got enough. At some point, I might even actually reread these to just sort of maybe see if I can take a look back at my past self, see if that's the self that's still here. Um, Being a middle-aged guy reading comic books about big-breasted teenage girls is so creepy and so deeply embarrassing. Um, yeah, yeah. I don't know if I've got much more to say about that other than it's a thing. It is definitely a thing in my in who I am, in my psychology. It's not all of me. It's just it's a little part. It's a part that I don't usually share or want to share. Um, Probably makes me a bad feminist or a god. Does It makes me someone who you can't really call myself a feminist, I guess, if I'm into this stuff. Can I? I don't know. Um, I seem to prize, because, like, look, Japanese artwork, they're able to do stuff other than kind of weird fetish, super kind of manifestations of the id. But there's something about looking in on another culture and their manifestations of their id, which is, I find, somewhat fascinating. And just because they use that manga kind of very simplified, iconic style, that appeals to my cartoony nature of what I like in my Western comics, which I don't really go for photorealistic, which is probably why a lot of the times there's a lot of European stuff which is very photorealistic, very rendered, which doesn't really appeal to me. Maybe why it's one of the reasons why a lot of superhero comics have turned me off, is I'm also, that artwork has gotten more and more realistic, more and more from real life, versus I'm going to conjure kind of the spirits in my head, the bizarre cartoon manifestations of my lust, of my anger, of my sadness, which I seem to respond to, especially in artwork, on a much more visceral level. um, so yeah, I don't know if this is particularly a disquisition on art or an apologia for my porn tastes. This is obviously isn't porn. You can get plenty of porn on the internet. I, for some reason, collected, which I guess is kind of softcore stuff, of very questionable taste. All right, big-breasted Japanese girls. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm a dumbass. All right, more videos later.